They're just there to hold your feet to the board right, but not all bindings are made the same way. The three principal materials for binding construction are carbon, aluminium and plastic, and each of these gives the binding a different feel. So what we're going to do is have a look at one of each of these and see how that works. The first binding we've got today is Now's Carbon O-Drive. To get a better look, we're going to take each of them apart. Carbon fibre is the kind of material you're more likely to find on a Formula 1 car than you are in a snowboard binding, and there's a good reason for this. It ain't cheap. For the equivalent amount of material, carbon fibre is both lighter and stiffer than either aluminium or plastic, so if you're looking for a responsive binding that's also lightweight, then this is your material of choice. So, what do we mean by responsiveness? Well, responsiveness is the speed at which your energy is transferred from you to your board, and with the carbon fibre binding, which is extremely stiff, this happens really quickly. So, if you're Travis Rice, that's great, but if you're just learning to snowboard, then this probably isn't the binding for you. So if you're a beginner or a jibber looking for something softer, a plastic binding like this Vermana Scando. Plastic is the most versatile material used for binding construction. It allows for pretty much endless possibilities when it comes to design shape. But what about stiffness? Well, thanks to different kinds of plastic fibres, we can make anything from Danny Dyer soft all the way up to Bruce Lee hard. One advantage of plastic bindings is that they're cheaper to produce, so it's a much more accessible binding for everyone out there. Whilst not being quite as lightweight as carbon, it's still pretty lightweight, and it's going to reduce the amount of chatter transferred to your feet, so it's probably going to be more comfortable as well. One way to increase the performance of plastic binding is to combine it with metal, and one such example of this is this, the Rome Katana. I can't take it any more apart than that. Rome's Katana combines the added strength of an aluminium heel cup for response, while a plastic base plate allows for a degree of tweak and flex for comfort. As you can see on this particular binding, the heel cup wraps underneath the base plate for added response, and binding like this can be almost as stiff as a carbon binding, but just not quite as harsh. One advantage of these types of two-piece construction is that they're more adjustable. The heel cup on this one can be slid in and out to dial in the perfect fit for your boot size. However, the disadvantage is that there are more parts to break and they can be heavier than some other types of construction. That's it for our video on baseplate materials, and if you have any questions, you know where to stick them.